Hello and welcome to DTC Podcast. I'm Eric Dyck. If you've ever wondered about the intersection of form, function, fragrance, marketing, and modern entrepreneurship, you're in the right place for this one. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Nez, a revolutionary deodorant brand that's been making waves in the beauty industry. With Nez, it's not just about masking your odor, it's about layering your fragrance, elevating your mood, and confidently stepping out. But Nez is not only about product, it's about philosophy and the drive behind it. Joining us is the indomitable Sherry Jhawar, mastermind behind Nez, as well as other famous cosmetic products like the EOS lip moisturizing system that was so popular in the early 2000s. But this conversation will enlighten you on the transformation of advertising in the digital age, from traditional TV spots to decentralized platforms. You'll discover how brands are adapting and evolving in the world of digital. We'll talk all about user-generated content, why UGC is the hidden goldmine for brands, and how businesses can leverage this often underutilized tool for maximum impact. The rise of micro-influencers, where big celebrities are not always the answer. You'll learn how rising stars and authentic voices can be a game changer for brand narratives, as well as how to optimize paid media. Sherry shares insights into the fast-paced world of paid advertising agencies, and you'll learn a lot of strategies that have catapulted brands to the front. So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a marketing guru, or just curious about the world of beauty and its innovative marketing trends, this episode promises valuable insights and actionable takeaways. Like always, let's go. On with the show.
When I was at L'Oreal, which is now 15 years ago, the testimonial TV commercial was the biggest form of advertising we did at L'Oreal. You felt like you were in their home, you were hearing a little bit of what they like. That is exactly what UGC is today. The hook, the messaging, like the points of difference of the product, and then some sort of call to action. So the constructs of advertising actually haven't changed. So I always tell CMOs and presidents and CEOs of companies today that, like, let's take it back to what you know. If they're a marketer or a president from like one of those times, I'm like, the constructs have not changed. It's just doing it in a different format. Just because it's not a famous person doesn't mean it's not going to resonate. In fact, it's going to resonate that much more.
Sherry, I want to welcome you to the D2C podcast. We've had a lot of domain expertise on recently. We had someone on recently who'd spent years in the apparel industry, and I feel like you are an absolute resident expert in the beauty space. So can you give me a little bit about your hero's journey in the beauty space?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Eric, for having me on the D2C podcast. I'm a huge fan, and so it's such an honor to be a guest. My background has been beauty for the last 20 plus years, which kind of makes me feel like I'm 100 years old now. But I started my career in beauty at L'Oreal in New York City. I joined L'Oreal in marketing, starting from the ground up, and was there for just under 5 years, and left as a director in hair care marketing, running shampoo and conditioner for their mass brand, L'Oreal Paris. I then had the opportunity to join a startup, pre-revenue, pre-products, pre-everything. And I joined as one of the earliest employees with the founders. And that company was a company called EOS, where we created the egg-shaped lip balm. So I always like to joke that I'm one of the chickens that helped lay the egg-shaped lip balm.
Those just took over. I remember when those came. They and I know we're going to get into form and function, but I think they were such a good example of something that, like, I don't know if they actually improved the ability to put on lip gloss, but they changed it in an innovative way that caught people's attention,
Exactly. The packaging was so revolutionary. It was so fun. The colors, the formula was great. It was organic and natural, but honestly, was it that much more functional to be able to do 2 lips at a time? I don't know, but like, people seem to want to justify, I could do 2 lips at a time.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll buy it. I'll buy it. 2 lips at once. And so, but yes, it really took over. I saw a meme recently that made me laugh that was like, and it was a picture of all these EOS lip balms, and it was like, the command that these people had on people in the mid 2000s was just unreal. Like, it's just hard
people
to
collecting
disrupt.
them. Yeah.
I think that's got to be the hardest thing in the beauty industry is, how do you stand out? How do you make, and when you can innovate the form or the function in some way, that's going to give you an edge, right? And that's a great example.
And then if you have good goo inside, as I call it, the good product, then they come back. If it's just form and function, then, you buy it once, it's cute, it's fun, but you don't come back. But if the goo inside is quality and you like how it feels on your skin, lips, hair, armpits, whatever, like that you're gonna love it. So I ran marketing there for about just under 8 years. I really grew that brand from, helped grow that brand from something from zero to a household phenomenon, pop culture phenomenon, and a household name, and loved everything I did there. Ran marketing, innovation, was one of the first brands to do posts with influencers or celebrities on social media, and really trying to like integrate our brand into the pop culture zeitgeist and into the conversation, and it really worked well for EOS. And so from there, I left to start to co-found an agency focused specifically on exactly that, the pop culture zeitgeist, and how do we help with marketing communications in all forms of pop culture, whether that's PR, influencer, celebrity, social media, paid media. It all kind of comes full circle. And that agency is called Blended Strategy Group, and I co-founded it with someone named Allison Statter, who came from the talent world and was a talent manager her entire career, so really understands talent and entertainment viscerally from that side, and I understood it from the brand side. And so when you sort of create a Venn diagram of what that looks like with the two of us, pop culture and entertainment management meets brand management, sort of like a nice explosive knowledge base where we overlap and what we can do for brands, and have been able to help brands of all shapes and sizes, a lot in the beauty space, but we do work with other brands outside the beauty space like Shake Shack and Coca-Cola, but a lot in the beauty and wellness space. So like Ollie Vitamins, from early days of them prior to them getting sold to Unilever and even still today. Real Skincare, which is a skincare and fem care and holistic cycle care brand, Elastin Skincare, and then also helping incubate brands. So we helped incubate the Gwen Stefani brand called Give Beauty. It's spelled GXVE, pronounced Give. It's Give with a kiss, and helped launch that brand, both D2C and omnichannel and Sephora. And then I decided I wasn't busy enough. And so I was going to co-found my own brand. So Alice and I actually co-founded a clean deodorant brand called Nez, which is something that was really personal to me. So it sort of took all the combination of all my experiences in beauty and marketing and loving what I love about form factor, like you just said, Eric, the formula feel, how you're thinking about using it, and marrying it with a personal story of I'm actually a breast cancer survivor. So it's something that I changed 12 years ago and started using better for you products, aluminum-free deodorant being one of them, and feeling like the category still is just so commoditized and chore-like that how do you bring more beauty, wellness, personal care, better fragrances, better formulas? Think about it more than just deodorant. And like, how do you even apply it? When do you apply it? Is it a date? Are you having a stressful meeting? Am I going to be nervous for this podcast? Because if you're nervous, you're going to sweat really differently than if you're running around working out at the gym. And so that's been an incredible journey. It's been almost a year since we launched it, and we launched it only D2C, with most recently a small launch also in Urban Outfitters, but D2C has been our primary, and continuing to just hone my knowledge in the beauty and marketing space.
Amazing. Well, I want to drill in. I want to put a pin in the evolution of the influencer marketing game, because I want to talk about that. But
yeah.
back to beauty a little bit. I think so. I've been using Nez since we last spoke, and I'm
excited.
a big fan of it. And really, it's there aren't deodorants that I found that smell like this. And to me, it's that naming of the job. It's like the job to be done. Like I don't want to smell like an ocean spray or a cool mist or whatever, right? Like I want to be ready for a date night, or I want to be, ready for, I want to smell great after a workout. So to me, I want to talk a little bit about like how you ended up innovating, or how you're innovating in Nez, how you're thinking about innovating the category in Nez. Because I think the way it's kind of gone, it wasn't exactly what you originally intended as well, right? Like it's which is neat.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, the mini format was something that came up as we were developing, and that was sort of what you're alluding to in terms of not exactly what we had originally intended. So I was really excited about doing something different in this category, because like I kind of like boring categories like that need to be revolutionized. Whether I've been a part of them in my own career, I've just watched it and I've admired it. Whether it's like brands that have revolutionized hand sanitizer like Touchland, which I have no part in, but I admire. Ollie Vitamins, which I've been able to be a part of their marketing team through Blended Strategy Group in the vitamin space. Obviously, what I did at EOS, but now with deodorant. And the first thing that came to mind was, first, how do we think about deodorant and day parting it? Because everything else in beauty and personal care is day parted. Like the skincare we use, there's morning routines, nighttime routines, there's oily skin, there's dry skin, hair care similarly. Obviously, certain looks with makeup that are done more for going out, versus like a day at the office. And I was like, why is, like, even oral care at this point is like day parted. And so I was like, why is deodorant like this one size fits all? Like, I must smell like coconut vanilla all day, or ocean mist, or Arctic freeze, or whatever it is. Like, and the only two ways that I saw deodorant had been innovated in is either more fragrances, but the fragrances weren't even that exciting or differentiated, or long wear. And, of course you want a deodorant that works, but 72 hours of long wear, I really hope you're taking a shower in 72 hours, or camping or at Burning Man, maybe, fine.
Yeah,
okay,
fine, sure.
You need something that lasts 72 hours. But, I was like, there's got to be more to this. And as I dug deeper and got with formulators and chemists and dermatologists, I learned that you actually sweat through two different glands. So your actual sweat when you're nervous is coming out a different gland than when you're moving or in the heat. And so there's something called apocrine sweat, which is anxiety-based sweat or nervous-based sweat, and something called acrine glands and acrine sweat, which is more from like movement or heat. It's an external factor that, gets the body heated up. And the sweat's different. Actually, nervous-based sweat is the sweat that tends to get smellier on the body. And so I was like, well, then you should actually be having different products for that to deal with the malodor and to help cover that. And if the cream sweat is what is more liquidy and watery, then you need something that absorbs it much faster, because you don't want to feel wet after a workout. Like, that's why we sometimes feel like we're dripping in sweat when we're working out or sitting in the sun. It's because we're literally, it's more watery than if we're sitting in a situation that's more nervous. So I love the fun factor of names and stuff like that. And I believe that like the most commoditized products should, still have fun in them. And so that's where the idea of date ready, board meeting, and workout session came about, where it's like your board meeting is kind of that nervous based setting. Like whether you have a school test, you're going to have a big meeting at work, it's like you're a chef and it's like a big meal, like the food critics coming to the restaurant or something, like whatever that is, that's sort of a nervous based setting. Workout sessions, anything that sort of involve movement. I mean, if you have a job that actually requires a lot of movement, maybe a workout session should be your daily one that you use, because if you're like lifting boxes or running around a lot, that's a great one to use. And then date ready was kind of that combination of both. You might be nervous for your date, or it might be a date that's going really well and like it's getting a little active. And so you need a little bit of both coverage. So every ingredient is actually different in the formulas. They are designed for the sweat occasion. And if you love one, that's great. Use it all the time. I know a lot of people love the way the date ready smell, because also the fragrances were designed for the occasion too. Every fragrance is meant to enhance the occasion in some way, the mood, the moment. So with workout sesh, they're more energizing fragrances. With board meeting, they're more calming and focusing fragrances. And then with date ready, they're more inspired by fine fragrance and have more of that element to them. So a lot of people are just obsessed with the date ready fragrances because they are so differentiated. There's nothing like that. There you go, sniffing your armpit. Yeah. And literally an editor did that at Coachella and festivals. Yeah. She was like, I sniffed my armpit. Do I still smell good if I'm at a festival dancing?
I've been in the wilderness for deodorant for a long time. I feel like I for many years I used the Crystal.
Yes, you talked about that.
The Crystal worked. I tried Tom's one time, and then what happened with Tom's was way worse than what Tom's or me naturally smell like. It created some unholy brew, but and I've kind of gone away from any scented deodorant for a really long time.
Yeah.
And like, I've gone away from, I never wear cologne or anything like that. Like I was just like, but it's a nice little personal treat to have something that smells good and makes you smell good all day that I'd kind of like foregone for a lot of years. But like, I got to say, I like Nez in my life.
It really is. And that's where the minis came in, because when we were launching, because we started developing during the stay-at-home period in COVID, we, a lot of our supply chain was backed up and things like that. So as we were working on the full-size package, which is more of a custom-shaped pill-size package, we were like, how do we launch something faster? And we were like, well, actually, now that we really look at our concept, having minis, like these little minis, are really good because you can throw them in every bag, gym bag, book bag, office drawer, car, glove compartment, anywhere you're going, purse, and your pocket even, and you can always apply it on the go. It's like chapstick. It's like EOS. It's like lip balm. Just apply it on your way. Zhuzh up between meetings. Zhuzh up on your way out to dinner. If you're like going into the gym, put a little extra on. If you're leaving the gym, and it wasn't like, if it was like yoga or Pilates and you weren't like dripping sweat, but you're like, oh, I still need a little freshen up. Like, you can just put it on. So the minis really, what's been funny about this is actually someone was telling me a couple of weeks ago how they just like, they look forward to applying it because it smells so good. It's not like, ew, I have to apply deodorant again. It's like, oh, I want to apply this. It's literally like you do with your favorite lip balm. Like you want to apply Summer Fridays lip gloss like 20 times a day, lip balm 20 times a day because you like the flavor.
It's smart, and it reminds me of the most famous, most profitable line in like beauty history, which is wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
It's
wash, rinse, repeat. We
or like 30%
say,
sales.
Smile and don't sweat the small stuff. That's what we say.
That's good.
That's our wash, rinse, repeat. And like there's something just like I just like sometimes I just do that. I just like sniff it like at my desk because it's just like, oh, it smells so good.
My daughter loves them. She's not using it. I'm not letting her use them yet, but she did get some of Gwen Stefani's makeup, and I want to talk a little bit about that retail play there. But you brought up the pill shaped.
Yes.
And I wanted to just talk about how with that form factor you can go too far. And I remember talking with Matt from Fussy about how he innovated his deodorant to start, where it's like, no, people will want it on their shelves because it couldn't actually properly stand upright. But you have to meet the table stakes.
You have to still meet the table stakes and think about how people are using it. And it's like, I really, it's actually, when we were talking about that, it was funny because I think I mentioned to you, like, we were thinking about that same thing too, of like, could it be this object of display and like, you want to just leave it out. But at the end of the day, people have limited bathroom shelf space and cabinet space, or even if they're putting it, in their desk drawer, like fine, maybe they'll put it down flat and stuff like that. But like, you can't change the fact that 90% of the usage is still in the bathroom when you get up in the morning. Yeah, it's medicine cabinet and vanities. Yeah. And people don't have a lot of space. Sometimes they're sharing it with someone else who they share a bathroom with. And they just, you still need it to stand up and take as little space. So we designed the pill shape so that it's very ergonomic. It has this natural indent inside it. It's got a color play, so you has a nice visual impact. Feels really nice in your hands. It has this curve on the top so that it ergonomically fits to your armpit and hugs it and stuff, and a nice full twist bottom. But thankfully, my co-founder, Allison, was like, Sherry, whatever you do, make sure it stands up. There's no way my husband and I are going to want to, lay this flat. And so we did put just enough of a bottom so it does stand up and it's it's stable in your medicine chest or on your vanity, and it won't topple over. And it, you have the ability to then if you have two, you can stack them this way and you can kind of see the colors. They spoon nicely together. Exactly. They spoon. Your date ready is spooning with your workout session.
My goodness. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the product. You fully converted me. Marketers, if you're finding yourself manually creating segments on Shopify and then waiting 20 minutes to download just so you can upload to Google, Meta, or Attentive to keep your audiences in sync, try Trestle Segments. Segments makes segmentation easy and profitable. Choose from pre-built audiences backed by data or make your own. Segments will keep synced across Klaviyo, Meta, TikTok, and more. They've just launched Filter GPT, so now you can segment using natural language. For example, just say, customers who bought during last year's holidays but ghosted since, and voila, it's done for you, ready for retargeting. Isn't AI wonderful? Try it today at trestle.co/DTC. That's TRESL.co/DTC for a special offer. Let's go back to, because I, working with Pilot House, we talk so much about creator content. We talk a lot about running creator content and influencer content as ads, but you were, when you started, when you started Blended Strategy, it was very much about the influence all the time. And I know and I think that's a space that I don't have a huge handle on anymore. So I'd be interested in your take on how that aspect, the influence aspect, has changed from when you started to where it is today.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Eric. And you know, the folks at Pilot House do such a great job with like UGC and how to place it and everything like that. It has evolved so much. So I actually define UGC now as like, there's basically 3 forms of UGC, and there's probably more than that, but I just sort of try and boil it down to 3 forms of UGC. There's UGC that comes out of an actual influencer, and someone who has a larger following that is engaged with them for whatever reason, whether they're an actress, musician, athlete, content creator, influencer, digital person, whatever, gamer, like they have a following and they create content, and that is still UGC. It's generated by someone and it's put out there. But when you do that, the purpose of that is more to have them post on their channels so that they're reaching their audience with a message that hopefully resonates with their audience about a product. So if we're doing that for something, whether it's a beauty brand or a food brand or something, it's like, does that person have that audience that would be engaged in this? So like a lot, I haven't done a tremendous amount of like paid influencer. We've seeded with influencers, and the ones that like really resonate well are people in the fitness wellness space, like where they clearly have an audience that's thinking about like health, body, and body care. And if they are working out, then obviously they're probably using a deodorant of some sorts. What the second type is sort of UGC that just comes out of seeding, which is just like blanket the world, send some product out, hope for the best. You get an unboxing, maybe you get, something more worthwhile, but it's like, it just helps show that the product is out in the wild and it's in the universe and gets a little bit. The third is the UGC around people who are just great content creators. They know how to put together great pieces of content. They know how to tell a story. They know how to create a hook that's just very unique to capture your attention. And they're not necessarily trying to grow their own audiences. Some might be trying to eventually cross over into the world of influencer, but a lot of them actually have a day job someplace else, or they're, maybe they're a mom and they're, this is a way that they love to sort of stay fresh and keep themselves busy in a different way. But they really are good in front of the camera on telling specific stories, not just being like, hi, my name is Sherry and my life today is I ate eggs and, I'm talking to Eric like on a DTC podcast, and like, that's not their comfort zone. It's, oh my God, this is the best smelling deodorant. I can't believe I'm actually telling you about a deodorant. This is wild. Yeah. And it has transformed the game. What that is the way that like I at L'Oreal, when I was at L'Oreal, which is now wild, it's almost been, I left L'Oreal in 2008, so 15 years ago. The testimonial TV commercial was the biggest form of advertising we did at L'Oreal. We would have big spokespeople sit in a room and talk about their love of preference hair color or their love of a L'Oreal lipstick or whatever it was. And it was a testimonial. I, Heather Locklear, I so-and-so love preference hair color because of this. And it was sort of like an insight. You felt like you were in their home. You were hearing a little bit of what they like. That is exactly what UGC is today, just not with a celebrity and on our iPhones and computers and other screens. Decentralized, exactly. That's the best word. Yeah. But I'm like, it's actually no different. The hook, the messaging, like the points of difference of the product, and then some sort of call to action. Go buy it at this website. Go get it at this drugstore. Go get it here. Is very similar. So the constructs of advertising actually haven't changed. And when I talk a lot to CMOs or presidents of brands today, because even though I'm of an age set that is a traditional marketer, I learned digital at a time that digitally native people were learning digital. So I have the ability to speak both languages really well. And so I always tell CMOs and presidents and CEOs of companies today that like, let's take it back to what you know. If they're a marketer or a president from like one of those times, I'm like, the constructs have not changed. It's just doing it in a different format. Just because it's not a famous person doesn't mean it's not going to resonate. In fact, it's going to resonate that much more because it's literally like Jane Doe is talking about this product and saying she loves it, or Joe Smith is saying it and he loves it. And so therefore I feel like this is just more believable. It captures my attention. It looks like content I'm already watching and scrolling through, especially on platforms like TikTok, where you really are just like scrolling like a fiend. And then being able to target it to the right audiences and catch fire when something starts to trend is the ability to do that is so much better than what it was ever for TV advertising. You wouldn't know if a TV advertising was working for months and months and months. And, and then you're like, oh, wait, it was working. I didn't know. I don't know what to do now. And it was, obviously tons of money to increase advertising on TV. This is like, you can realize really fast, this is catching fire. Let's throw more money into that. Let's spark that on TikTok. Let's do this. Like we did a post the other day for Nez, and it's going viral. And it was literally a content creator at Blended Strategy Group who did this thing where it was like sniffing her armpit, like in the car, being like, oh, when you realize you forgot to put deodorant on before you got in the car. And it's like, oh, that's why Nez, mini Nez in an emergency car kit is always in must. And I emailed Pilot House and I was like, guys, look at this. This is going viral. Like, it's got 16,000 views organically. Immediately we could spark it and capitalize on that moment of why is it doing so well in real time. And so I'm a huge fan of UGC, and I think that brands are not utilizing it enough. And then I think when they are utilizing it, they don't understand that it's no, I don't need that person to post on their own platform. That is not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to generate a better customer acquisition cost in converting to a purchase. Use other things for the influencer marketing. And if you hit something great there and you want to whitelist that, that's amazing too. We had something like that happen with Perfume Talk, where I was like, oh my God, this organic post that someone did is great. Emailed the content creator. I was like, do you mind if I whitelist this or, and spark it, whitelist it on Instagram Reels and spark it on TikTok? Can we talk about rates? And then we did that, and everyone wins and stuff because she has an audience, and it's a captive audience of 100,000, 200,000 people. But UGC isn't about that. And it's about quick learns. You can't get so, I was telling someone this recently where I was like, don't pick it apart. If something's factually wrong, of course, have that corrected. But otherwise, kind of the likes and the ums and the sort of feeling it out is part of it. It's what makes it work.
Air is human.
Yes, the air is human, and we like watching that stuff. It's authentic, it's genuine, it's real. And so don't pick it apart, and just try lots of different things. Green screens, duetting, this hook, that hook, and that's been the best thing in the partners that I've had in UGC is that it's just let's just throw out a bunch of stuff and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, no problem. Let's turn it off.
When you get a big client that comes to Blended Strategy or whatever, I'm sure there are lots that are still looking for that really high level placement into television and those kinds of things. Can you talk a little bit about what the world of influence looks like right now beyond the sort of creative for social media?
Absolutely. I mean, they're definitely look, they're brands like Coca-Cola that are, of course, still doing huge celebrity ambassadorships. We were fortunate enough, my team at Blended, my co-founder and executive vice president really led this, where they did collaboration with Coca-Cola and Marshmallow, collaboration with Coca-Cola and Rosalia, new custom flavors. So still huge names, huge marketing around it and reaching new demographics for Coca-Cola, which has been great. And but it is also still, even with people like that, you have to layer in the digital aspect of how do you storytell through digital, especially someone like Rosalia that has a massive digital following, or Marshmallow that has a huge digital following. How do you unlock that and unveil these things while they're, on social, but also reaching your traditional audience on TV or other things? When it comes to other celebrity and influencer, I think it's yes, brands are still very interested in this. And we always say, depending on your budget, your total budget, it's a layering effect. And if you have a very small budget, then it's probably do organic seeding and do UGC and run paid with the UGC and don't worry about influencer other than seeding to people who might be interested, and leverage an agency partner that has good relationships so that when they're seeding, the likelihood of the package getting open is as high as possible. Because it's not about seeding 1,000 people, it's about seeding 50 people where 40 of them will likely open and post, because quality over quantity and relationships like matter a lot in the celebrity and influencer world. When a brand has a more significant budget of, mid 6 figures type thing, and we can start to build out a plan for them where it's like, okay, if you have $500,000 of marketing budget for the year, what can we do in sort of is there a mid-tier celebrity or rising celebrity that makes sense maybe on one of these Netflix shows or other shows on that, like someone, especially if it's Gen Z, there's so many things that keep coming out on different shows. People are rising. They're early enough in their career. They're much more affordable, but they have generally a lot of good followings, both on Instagram and maybe even on TikTok. And then, so is there room for that? Do you want an expert? If you're a makeup brand or a hair care brand or a skincare brand, even if you're a supplements brand, like do you have beauty vitamins? Is having a makeup artist or a hairstylist in there make sense? Is a fitness person? Like where does experts fall in? Because the credibility factor is another thing that becomes something that's important. And skincare from dermatologists, and like on TikTok now, there's so many Derm Talks, a whole thing and stuff. And so, and then the third is like more the lifestyle and beauty or wellness influencers, and kind of what's the demographic you're trying to reach and why. Do you want to layer on like I like to use this little icon chart a lot of like, do they hit on beauty? Are they a mom? Are they this? Like, how do you create your portfolio, your mix of people, your mixed basket, so you're reaching different audiences? The same way we did book lists when we had like Allure, but then also Health Magazine, and then, an Us Weekly, and like for like, that pop culture reach and frequency, or then we had like, a Harper's Bazaar for like that really big quality like type thing, of course Vogue and stuff. And so it's like everything's a mixed basket. Even in the print world it was. So it's the same thing in influencers. And so we tell people, let's layer that, and then let's make sure we're storytelling within that. And the biggest thing that we try our best to get our clients at Blended to listen to us about is, don't be so prescriptive in the briefs, even for influencers too. Like, yes, again, we know you have your messaging points. The more you write it out for them, the less it's going to engage. The more you let them be them, the better it will be. And, we've seen such great success in that with like brands like Ollie that have a Hillary Duff at a higher level, speaking to back to school and being a mom and doing really great content in that, but then also having like a Sarah Weissglass from Georgia and Ginny, who has an incredible TikTok following and is rising still, to then having a bunch of like influencers that might be about parenting, might be about wellness, might be about beauty, just kind of creating that mix. And like Ollie's been able to do, I think what Blended has done with Ollie, especially over the last 7 years, and continues to do, has been able to create that portfolio all the way, through. And even we've done some new GC for them, on a project basis also, where to supplement big moments for them, like back to school or other things.
Super cool. One question is funny. My friend was asking, he's a marketer, and he wanted me to start asking on this podcast, what is your best offer? Just go dead simple. Like, what currently is your best offer that you have with Nez, I guess? Like, what offer is working the best? Yeah,
I think honestly, so we don't discount too much, because there are brands that do a lot of like different bundle packs and different things like that, but we really want people to come and buy the brand. And so we have a 6-pack that is a sampling pack of all 6 of the minis, all 6 varieties, because there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 variety or 3 occasions, and then each occasion comes in 2 scents. One's a bright scent, which is more of a fresh fruit floral scent, but it's not, everything's gender neutral. So like men shouldn't get afraid of the word floral. It's still gender neutral. And then the smokies are more herbaceous, woodsy, muskier scents. And people who like, they're not overly masculine. Plenty of people who like more, like who are women, love the smoky scents. Actually, I think the smoky scents weirdly are like the sleeper, in that once people get the 6-pack, they're like, wait, I thought I was gonna be scared of the smokies, but they're so good. and then they love the bright. So this is $35. If you buy 2-3 packs individually, they're $20 each. So it's $5 discount. It's free shipping. So it's like, I call it the discovery pack, but also like, if you end up loving something, you can buy it you can buy 3 minis again, or you can buy the full size. Like you can come back and buy anything you want in any combination and stuff. But this intro pack, the sampler pack of 6, every fragrance, I'd say for $35 and free shipping is our best offer. And, is a way for you to, if you sniff something and you're like, that's not for me, you give it to someone. There's someone in your life who's going to like it because they're great.
Not likely. They're all just so damn good. Okay, I'm sold. Good offer. Thanks for laying that down. And then if we were to give you $50,000 right now for Nez, how would you deploy that to see the most growth in the rest of 2023?
Wow, I love that question. If I had $50,000 right now, I would take some of it to just continue with working capital. As an entrepreneur, that's always something you're always trying to make sure you have some more money to make more inventory and stuff. But honestly, I'd put so much more into paid media. Like we are seeing such good results with UGC, and I have such small budgets because we're, still a very small brand and we're still growing, and we do the best we can. But I like to see the results that have happened, especially since I've been working with Pilot House, like on like getting our customer acquisition costs down and testing and learning new forms of creative really fast. It's so great because we took our customer acquisition down by like 2/3, I think. Like it's massive.
Nice.
And it's consistent in that. And so to be able to just,
what's the breakthrough there? I'm so curious. Like in that, like what, like I've seen Pilot House do it again and again, and I don't want this to turn into a Pilot House ad.
Yeah.
But what was the breakthrough for what allowed the ads to work so much better? What were they doing that was different?
I think it was a combination of we had the triple force of we launched full size. They helped us create so many different versions of promoting full size, both for new customer acquisition as well as for lapsed customers who maybe bought the mini pack couple months ago but hadn't come back and bought yet, and now maybe knowing if we have full size might get them back in. Just the ability to constantly create new ad sets and target both. Like it's like, is it the headline, is it the graphic, or is it the audience? And creating each different ad set so that we actually know what's working, so then we can turn that off. Like if they see something's not working and it's like a crazy customer acquisition cost, they turn it off very fast, and then they move towards what it is working. If it's like, wait, okay, it seems like it's the headline that's working, now let's test that headline with 7 images and see, like, was it the headline with that image, or does that headline also work with these other images and stuff? Is it minis versus full size? Like, what is it? And they just like, I've worked with a lot of different paid media agencies through my career. I've been through the era of like programmatic and like all of that, like with streaming or with like YouTube pre-roll and all these things. And
me too.
All these different, you've seen it all. And then I've worked with a lot of different agencies, both as like partner agencies for clients of Blended, and then through the work that we do where we're helping lead that and work with agencies. And like what I've loved about specifically working with Pilot House has been like that the ability to move so fast. I mean, I consider myself one of the fastest moving people out there. Like I don't sleep much. I love my work. I love what I do. And our person at Pilot House, I mean, sometimes I'm wondering if she's a real human because she moves.
Is it?
It's Abby. She is freaking amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Like she moves so fast. I said to the girl on my team, this girl, Bryn, who I adore, who works really closely with Abby on both Give and Nez. She was like, I was like, Abby moves so fast I can't keep up. That is a rare statement that comes out of my mouth. Like you could interview everyone who's ever worked with Sherry Jhawar and they'd be like, no one moves as fast as Sherry. And no one moves faster than Sherry. But Abby moves so fast that I'm like,
oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I'm like, and it's great because like I want to get her this stuff and Bryn wants to get her this stuff because we know she's going to put it into action and get results fast or see what's working. And even if it's bad results, she'll know it eliminates something. And it's like, boom, out, never trying that again. Now we know, let's go back to this and stuff. So it's just so incredible to have a partner that moves that fast and obviously cares about your brand that much, because that's what we all hope for. Like that's how we operate at Blended in the stuff we do, an influencer and paid influencer and PR.
Operating on the central idea that you're on a train and you have to keep shoveling coal into the engine to kind of keep going. Like, it's hard to overestimate like the amount of creative, and not just creative, but like creative strategy. Like you were describing a pilot test there, which is what Pilot House is. We're teaching in our upcoming course, Scale School, which is a little tease. But it's basically just all about how to kind of like continually uncover blind spots and consolidate like winning aspects of your ads. So you're constantly trying to expand and contract in terms of their quality and efficiency. And it works when you do it at scale, but it does take insane hustle. So
it takes so much hustle. And honestly, that was the thing when we were referred Pilot House from the guys at Pretty Boy. We were evaluating another agency at the same time, and it was the hustle and excitement that got us hooked on like, okay, we're going to try Pilot House out, and we're so excited about it. And it has done nothing less than deliver tenfold on that. But it's how I feel as an agency owner too. It's like, that hustle is real in everyone that works at Blended. Whether we're doing your social content strategy, we're doing your PR, we're doing your full marketing comms, or we're doing your influencer, or just helping you find the next celebrity for your brand. Like, the market is changing so fast in all of these formats. And like you said, even with influencer and celebrity, right, we have to be super conscious of like backlash, or like they're humans. You're not like, this is a living, breathing thing. They have a life. Like, they cannot something could happen that makes them less desirable for your brand. And how do you work with that? And how do you, at least like with like ads, like it's like, and like a lot of the ads we do, I'm like, it's just product on a picture. Like, that can't talk. Like, hopefully this deodorant isn't going to jail anytime soon.
No. Super cool. I like, generally this has been great. The DTC podcast, we don't talk about Pilot House that much, and we try to treat Pilot House as like the host of the party here at DTC, but it's awesome to hear that feedback, and I really appreciate it. Like, it's been, Sherry, I think you got to become our resident beauty advisor here.
I would love to. I love working with your team. I love this industry. And as you guys have more things in the beauty space, call me anytime. I'm here.
Okay, well, we'll put a pin in the Gwen Stefani retail conversation. We'll have that next. We're also going to be working on bringing her to bringing a pop-up market when she performs out here in Vancouver Island.
Is there a Lake Down Shakedown or whatever it's called?
Lake Town Shakedown.
Lake Town Shakedown.
We'll be doing it out here on the island. I think Abby will be going for sure. I'm actually going to a wedding this weekend that Abby is attending. I think I'm driving from Vancouver with her. So
we'll tell her I wasn't sure she was real, because she works so fast and so efficiently, and I'm obsessed with her.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to send her the transcript for this. She'll get a big kick out of it. Awesome.
Amazing.
Well, Sherry, thanks so much. It was a lot of fun. Oh, and also go to Nez. Sorry, what's the domain? Nez?
Nezcare.com. Check it out. Go to nezcare.com, buy a 6-pack, or buy our Match Our Mood pack. It's another really good one where you get our 2 bestseller minis. And it's really great. It's great for the holidays too.
Let yourself enjoy some nice fragrance too. If you've been living a fragrance-free life, like, let a little fragrance back.
Let your fragrance back in. It's like wardrobe your fragrance. Layer them, change them up day by day.
Let's go.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you can do that right now at directtoconsumer, all one word, .co. I'm Eric Dyck, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.